This is Charles Bowling, and this is part two of my evaluation of the HRM practices within the stock market country store. For employee training and development, there isn't any orientation at this company for new employees, so new employees will go to work without going to any orientation meetings or anything like that. They say the reason they do not have orientation is because the company is so small and it's not really complex to where employees will come and they don't really have to go to orientation to learn the goals because it's not really that big of a deal to them. Training programs, the only training program they really have is on-the-job training, and this takes place in all the job departments. The people that do the training is the people that have been at this company the longest, and there's quite a few of them, so they have training covered pretty well. They don't have to worry about they haven't had to worry about teaching new people how to train in a long time. The legal compliance and diversity training here, there really isn't any concrete training for that area, but they do follow all the necessary laws for those areas, and they encourage their employees to come forward if there's any issues with sexual harassment, with any kind of harassment of that nature, and to tell them about it, and they will deal with it from there. I do encourage them to have an orientation process, even though they don't think it's important. I think it could benefit the employees just by knowing a little bit before they go to work. Performance management, they make the administrative decisions that they make comes from primarily the owners. While the managers do make the decisions, it's mainly the managers giving the opinion to the owners, and then the owners will make the decisions from there. How to determine raises and all that kind of stuff is also from the owners, and they will listen to opinions to see what they're missing. And whenever raises are given, it's not normally said before. It's normally a surprise within the next paycheck, so the employee is going to kind of have a surprise about that. Compensation practices. There is compensation for the employees, but not much really at all. They do have overtime, but the only people that really get overtime are the managers, and it's not even encouraged really, but they do get overtime and it's increased pay. All the employees get a discount to the store products and services that they offer, which is good. All of them like that. The full-time employees will get bonuses, but the part-time ones will kind of miss out on all that. I would involve more compensation practices, maybe more overtime for all the employees, especially the warehouse workers, because after talking to them, they said how there's a lot of days where their work will be cut short and they have to come in the next day and do the work that they should have done, but it took up too much time. And I believe that if they would have overtime, especially in that area, then that would help benefit the production and help them stay ahead of schedule and not lack and stay behind. Employee rewards and incentives that are given to them there's not really many incentives here. They do nice things for the employees. They will, for Christmas and holidays, they will have a get-together, parties at somebody's house, and they're all offered to come. And some other things they do is have dinner for employees, just random dinner. They'll either bring lunch for them or take them out to dinner one day or one night. There is no incentive program necessarily, so the incentives, I think, both compensation and incentives, I think they can increase those to make the employee more happier about their jobs. Even after talking to the employees, none of them had any of those problems. They didn't really care to have that just because of how nicely the store treated them, since it's they treat you like family pretty much. So they don't really worry about that because they don't have any problems. But I think involving a little bit more incentives or compensation would help them out. Employee safety programs, there isn't any in the store, but for the warehouse, yes, there is safety programs back there, but there's not much. For the warehouse workers, they have to be certified for the forklift. Besides that, that's pretty much it. The frequency of the programs, that's never in the store. And like I said, once you get certified for the forklift, then that's pretty much it. And I don't think they really need to change that because there's not much dangerous stuff going on there and not much could happen to workers. I mean, they are asked if they can lift up so many pounds and all that kind of stuff. So there's not really a great need of more safety programs to come in. Labor union, there are no union workers at the store, and after asking that, they kind of sound a little silly because they don't know why any of their workers would want to unionize within here, and they've never even heard of any workers talk about that before. So I asked if there were employees that would want to start unionizing, what would they do about that? And they didn't have an answer because they didn't know, they never had that problem before. And I think that's good. I think they do need to be prepared for maybe the future if things start changing and factors like external environment start changing and everything, then they might need to have a plan just in case if workers want to start unionizing, then they might want to have a plan. And this kind of goes back to compensation and incentives. If they increase the compensation and incentives, or at least have a plan to raise those up, then I think that would kind of level out the playing field and make them not want to unionize. External and internal alignment. There is, and deadly combos and powerful connections. The core employees that I found from here, from the stock market country store, are I couldn't get an actual job that were core employees. They were kind of hesitant about answering because all of the employees here are very vital to the company. There's no employees or jobs that are more committed to the values of the company than others. So everybody working here is pretty much all going for the same goal. The warehouse workers are, if I would have to say, I would say the warehouse workers are the job-based employees, to where they're trying to get production done. Since they're set back in the warehouse, they're not seeing the daily transactions and all this kind of stuff going on, so they don't really get to see what the managers and the cashiers and the receiving people in the office, they don't get to see what all they're seeing and just what goes on in the daily. So I would say that they are the job-based employees, while the other ones are the core employees. Competitive analysis. The pay scale. They start off their workers at $9 an hour, but they have room to increase their pay, and that actually starts pretty quickly. I was talking to some employees, and they said that their pay raised within a month to like $1 to $2, and that's actually pretty big, and that's actually really good. And that goes for all jobs too. They have room to increase their pay, and I think that's very good. The key recruitment practices and how they get a quality workforce. They believe that just who they are and how they've been there so long, they have a good history, and they think that just that is enough to attract quality workers to want to come in here. And I would somewhat agree with that, because knowing this place, I don't think I think people that would come and try to get hired to this company are going to be quality just because of the company's goals and the nature of the company. The top two competitors of the stock market country store would be Tractor Supply, which is right across, well, not across, but like right down the street from them, not even a quarter of a mile. And that would be their biggest competitor. And they deal with them pretty good. They do have them taking some of what they used to have, like as in customers and stuff, but they have adjusted good to that and changed up their products and services to where they can make up for all that. Another competitor they have is Chewy.com, which is a website, and the other one is, JeffersPet.com, which is another website. Those two websites sell a lot of pet stuff, and these two websites used to not be their competitors at all back years ago when they weren't really a pet store. But after so much has happened, like the external environments have changed and people aren't farming as much, they changed to a pet store and now they have new competitors. How about that? And that is it for my part 2. Thank you.